So let me pull up the question. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So here's a question. So the first thing is getting to understand the model and bringing out your model. And one thing I said was one thing you can use to get an idea of the model is using draw.io. Like sketch out your model first before you even start development. So if you go to draw.io, this is just where I'm going to save it. So create a new diagram, entity relationship. Okay, so from the question, you have just been hired as a developer to assist Blackbox Inc. to develop a Salesforce-based subscription management system for administering and managing student enrollment program and payment. See the requirements below from business. So you have a program can have many courses, a course can have many lessons, a student can register for a program can be categorized as paid or free. So according to this 1, 2, 3, 4, it shows us, it gives us an idea of the models you're gonna have, the objects you're gonna create. So you have program, you have courses, you have lessons, you have students, and there are some that are not probably very obvious here. We are going to have plan, which is like the plan students can register into. You're going to have the subscription, which is like a junction object between the student and the plan. That is what the plan the student actually subscribed for. Then you're gonna have the enrollment, which is like a junction object between the student and the program. That is the program which the student actually enrolled into. So let's start. So you have program. You're gonna have the ID and the name of the program. Then I'll just remove those ones. Then course. You have the ID, the name of the course. And for the relationship between the program and the course, you can have it as a lookup in the sense that you can create your program without a course and your course without a program. Then you can probably, if you make it master detail, you must, like when you're creating a course, you must definitely select a program. But probably your program is not ready as at the time you're creating your course. You can create a course and add the program later, right? So you can actually make it a lookup. And then you have lessons, which has an ID and name. Then you have student. students, ID and name. Then you have plans. ID and name. Then you have subscription. That's your ID. Okay, no, you have ID. Then I want to have the plan ID. Also, the student ID. You have enrollment. So for enrollment, you have the program ID and also the student ID. So program and course, the program can have many courses. So that's a lookup, program to courses. A course can have many lessons. That's also one to look up. Then student and plan. Bring this one here. So a student, according to the question, it says students can have one active subscription at a time, which means they can actually have more than one subscription, but at the time, only one should be active. So that means the students can have many subscriptions, many inactive subscriptions, but only one should be active at one point, at any point. So for that, you can have like many to many, in the sense that a student can have many plan, and a plan can belong to many students. So, and the junction object, so that's like many to many, and your junction object between the student and the plan will be the subscription of the student. So it's going to have the plan ID and the student ID, which means the student can have many plan, and a plan can also belong to many students at any point in time. So that's many to many. Let's use this. Change that. So the student has many subscription, the plan has many subscription also. So then we have enrollment, which is a junction object between the students and the program. So the program, the student is enrolling into, so the students can enroll into multiple program, right? And so the program the student is enrolling into shows is being tracked with the enrollment. So looking at what we have here, we have program has many courses has many lessons, program has many enrollment, student also has many enrollment. Student has many subscription, plan also has many subscription. So I think we have 7 tables: program, course, lesson, student, enrollment, subscription, and plan. Are we all good onto this to this stage?
Not really, not really. The program and the enrollment is still a bit confusing. And my major question I want to ask Tony is there any key thing that should spring out for you to now decide that you're going to use a junction object? Because is there any key thing in that document that just should spring out and, I mean, you should immediately see and just know that, oh, they're supposed to be like this arrangement?
For subscription, I will start because subscription is very clear from number 5. Number 5 says a student can have one active subscription at a time. So if you look at that, the statement it's carrying a clause here, one active subscription, which means, and the students can actually have more than one subscription, right? But only one should be active. The question could have easily said a student can have one subscription at a time, right? But it specifically says one active subscription, which means the student can have more inactive subscriptions, like 10 subscriptions, but only one of those 10 should be active at any point in time. So which means for you to make sure that your student has more than one subscription, you need another table to track the subscription of the student. Because if you're using lookup, right, or lookup or master detail, there is no way you can track multiple, except you're using feed tracking or something. But if you want to have it as, okay, what are the things this person was the subscription history of this person? Well, probably last year I was doing basic subscription. 2 years ago I was doing standard subscription. This year I'm doing premium subscription. How do you track that? That is why we are going for a master, a many-to-many table. So I can have in the subscription, I can have the plan ID as at I will also be having created and updated by. So as at 2 years ago, I will know that plan ID and student ID. Plan ID is one, student ID is the student ID, and that was 2 years ago according to the created date. Then probably last year, I will also have the same student ID, different plan ID, and a different date. Do you get that now?
Okay. I guess the key word there is tracking many subscriptions.
Exactly. Same thing goes for program. The student wants to have many programs, like some of you guys did. Some of you that are doing developer course now, you've also done admin, right? Admin is a program. Developer course is a program. Do you understand? So for you to track your multiple programs, you can't just put program ID here. If you just say you have a lookup and you put program ID here, that means at any point in time, you can only be having one program. Like this student can only be subscribing to one program. You get, and if you don't use that, you put student ID here. That means this program, only one student can use this program, which is not what we want to do, right? We want the program to be available to multiple students, and we want students to be able to enroll into more than one program. So as at let's say this course now, the student ID, my own student ID is 2, and I have 2 programs in my system, which is admin and developer. So I can have student ID 2 developer 1, I can also have another table, another record, student ID of 2, that same student, then another program. That is what gives us the enrollment table. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. So,
I got a question.
Tony, please.
Okay.
So, if you look at, I completely understand your line of thought, but looking at that number 3 from the requirements, it says a student can register for a program. Yeah, that kind of like throw me off from this part. For a program, you mean one student to one program? There should be a master data and many to many.
Yes. Actually, according to this number 3, students can register for a program, which means the students it can actually be a lookup from A, right? It can be a lookup, yeah. Not really a master data, a lookup. You can actually have program ID, right? But there is
the enrollment already bring them together, which is completely understandable. But looking at that statement that says students can register for a program, so it's difficult to look at the aspect of many to many, like to connect them using enrollment.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain now, right?
Okay.
Like you can have a student enrolling into just one program, and you have this. Now, the reason why I'm using enrollment table is I was actually looking at real life scenario, and I was coming from the Black Force point of view, right? In the sense that, like I explained earlier, you guys, like some of you did admin, and at the same time you're doing developer class. But according to number 3, right? This is me just trying to make things a bit interesting. But according to number 3, you can actually say you can make it restricted that the students cannot have more than one program. The students will be taking out these enrollment. Then the students can only be enrolled into one program. You get, but to make it a bit interesting, so you can enroll into program, into admin, and also enroll into developer at the same time. So you can actually have an enrollment table. This is just for scalability. So in future, if it changes that, okay, we actually want the student to be, because this, you can use it to track just one program, and you can use it to track many programs. So when you are designing your model, always think about scalability. Okay, what if the requirement changes tomorrow? What if we want the student to enroll into multiple programs? If you have done this, it might be hard for you to scale. Like it might be hard for you to track multiple enrollment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Or if you have actually done this, you are still correct according to number 3. You are very correct. Do you get?
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
I Tony, sorry. What type of diagram are you using? Are you using a flow chart or class diagram?
Entity relationship.
Entity relationship. Okay.
Yeah. Luciana, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you. I like the idea of creating a different object called enrollment and making life easy there. But when I was trying to do this thing, I was thinking of maybe this or something called record group, in such a way whereby I wouldn't need to create another table called enrollment, and everything will be embedded in the program and with just additional column, additional field.
So in the program?
Yes. And whereby I will have an opportunity to say, yes, this is the only active one. Yeah.
I don't get, like, you have additional field on the program called student or what?
Yeah. No.
Like field dependency. Like field dependency.
One thing is, if you're actually not using an extra table, you can't add another. What you want to do is add another field to students for the program ID to track.
Okay, let me explain this. For instance, you enroll for developer. So based on what we have now, automatically admin is part of your program. Okay. So, but if you enroll for admin is part of what you are going to get. So if you enroll for admin, forget about developer. You cannot get developer. So
exactly. That is according to number 3. If you enroll for developer, that's all. You are enrolled into developer.
So anyway, I like your style, but I think it's your style a little bit deviated from Salesforce admin, where we make use of a record type. Record type where we make use of record type and some other things there. Instead of record type, you could as well create a separate table that we handle that we allow for expansion. This enrollment table, I think it can maybe one can represent this with a record type. If I understand that admin, Salesforce admin properly.
The record type, is it going to be on program or student?
It's not going to be on student, it's going to be on program.
I don't really understand.
You see, for instance, me as a student, I can have many records in program, but with different record types here and there, different enrollment. Yes. But sincerely speaking, I like this idea. You just gave me a different way, an easier way to avoid record type, which is a little bit complicated sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Taiwo. Okay, Tenedi, do you have a question? Any of you have a question?
Yes, sorry. So I think I sort of like go in line with what Olushina is saying. I don't know, I just want to give a suggestion because I'm thinking maybe we can use field dependencies for the subscription where we then and the program. When we have a subscription for the standard, basic, and professional. And since you can only have one at a time, okay? And for the standard, you have the paid, for the program, you have the paid and the free. So if there's a field dependency whereby when you click on free, it automatically gives you the basic. And when you click on paid, the options that you have for the record type will be for the standard and professional.
Guys. Oh, hold on, guys. You're not asking the right questions, okay? This is not how to build a model. Tony has drawn out the model, and you should just kind of like understand from that point of view. When you're building a data model, you want to build something that is scalable. What if they change or they add more items to the plans? What if they add more items to the programs? You can't be using a record type. Record type is used for page layout and pick list. That's the purpose of a record type. It is not for building data models or filtering data. No. Understand the reason why Salesforce has this thing, certain things, and you should use it for the purpose of which it's being designed for. Record type is to differentiate different page layouts, differentiate different processes, and pick list value. That's it. So if you have a LMS and they have subscription model and they have a plan, you should design a data model. You shouldn't be using record type. Always understand why Salesforce has a feature and how to use that feature to solve your problem. I specifically said you guys should design a data model. So why do you want to limit that and start using record type? Record type is for page layouts, for pick list value, and for processes, okay? So always have that at the back of your mind. Scalability. What would happen if you're no longer there? Would that developer be able to continue from where you stop? Okay? I know they do pay a lot of money for developers and architects, but this is what they're paid to do, to design data models and solutions. Because I've asked you to do it in a week, but in a real situation, you'll be given like maybe 1 month to come up with a solution. So you were given this task based on the fact that you've learned enough to understand how to develop a simple model. This is one of the easiest models you could possibly see. There are so many complicated models out there, but please try to let Tony move forward because this is quite straightforward. Okay, so please understand Salesforce creates certain features for the purpose of which they want you to use it for. Like when we're developing the billing system, I specifically ask you to create a plan model, to create a customer model, to create a bill object, all those kind of stuff. They're the reason why you have to create them so you can scale it. But if you're using record type here, then you cannot scale it in future because what if they had more requirements and you cannot even like achieve that requirement because you've already limited yourself by using record type. Okay, so please let Tony move on. Ask the right questions. Every question is valid, but make sure you're asking the right question so you learn faster and better than to bring in things back by suggesting other things when we've already seen the solution. Tony worked on this stuff and he knows how this stuff works. So please try to understand from his point of view and make things faster, okay? Thanks.
Okay, so I'm just gonna show you the schema builder. We already, because it will still take sometimes if we want to start creating those things again in the, but we already created the stuffs in Salesforce last week. So I will just show you the schema from the schema builder. So we have program, course, lesson. All these I just look up: program to course, course to lesson. Then we have enrollment program. The student and the program giving us master many-to-many, giving us a new table called enrollment. Then your student and plan giving us a new table called subscription. It's the same thing. It's the same thing I've been doing here since. So it's just now it's in Salesforce. So I will clear to this place. So it's like the same thing I explained here is the same thing I just created each of these objects and I came here to view it in my schema diagram. So let's check the next question. Number 4, program can be categorized as paid or free. So in your program, you're going to have a new field called category. Category, which will be paid or free. You just go to once you create, if you look at program, I have category. So I can go to my front end and create, like pick list, sorry, not front end. So if you go to Objects Manager, you go to Program. You have a pick list called Category, which is going to have paid and free. Paid and free. So A student can have one active subscription at a time. That is what we're tracking with subscription. But one thing I've done here differently is in the question you might be saying subscription, although we also have subscription in our model, but the subscription you see here is called plan. A student can have one, just see the subscription as a plan. A student can have one active. So in your subscription here, you are going to have another field called status. Status, and status will be a pick list, either active or inactive. Let me see. Subscription. Okay, let me just create that. Pick list.
Tony, could status be a checklist?
Checkbox, yeah.
Sorry, checkbox.
Yeah, it could be a pick list or a checkbox. I think checkbox is actually better. Status. So you have status. Subscription will come back to this number 6. A student can register into a paid plan with an active subscription. Subscription available include basic, standard, and professional. So you want to go to your front end and create those. But this is what I was actually talking about. Number 8, subscription available include basic, standard, and professional. Now I'm using plan, like plan. This is plan now, not subscription. Plan available include basic, standard, and professional, because I'm using subscription as, it's just English though. I'm using subscription as a junction object between my standard and plan, my student and plan. You get, so the plan that is being subscribed to is now called a subscription. So this number 8 is actually plan available include basic, standard, and professional. So if you go to your front end and you go to plans, you have premium. These are just records I created last week. So paid program available include business analyst, consultant, and developer. So if you go to programs, I have a bunch of programs which I categorize as either free or paid. So these are the ones that were given BA, consultant, and developer, which are paid. So I created 2 new ones for free, admin and service cloud, which I categorize as free. So problem, develop a data model that addresses the stated problem and all necessary field. I think we've done this. Describe the relationship between each of the objects created in the model. We've done this. This is the relationship. Then programmatically design and develop different methods to capture data into each of the objects present in the data model. We'll come back to the Apex part. Okay, sorry. Declaratively design and develop screen flow, number 3. Number 3 first, declaratively design and develop screen flow to capture data into objects. So we want to go to flow. So we did one last week, but let's just create a new one. So we want a screen flow. Because we are dealing with screen, there are other, okay, I left the place. There are other types of flow, trigger, time trigger, record trigger, but we want screen flow, like interaction with the user. So screen flow, the first screen we want to have is collect the student data, right? We want to collect the student data. And what do we have for students? Okay, for this, for the data you're collecting, you can actually have more fields here. Students, you can have email, phone number, blah, 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 blah. Just for time, you can, those are just fields that you create. Doesn't really affect anything. So I want name. So student, this is just a screen flow. I'm trying to create a screen here, right? So student's name. That's it. And my flow label will be student. So if you have more fields in your student data, you just add them here and you phone number, email. But I only have name in my student stuff, so I will leave it as that. Then done. So I have a screen called. So if you save this and you preview. Workforce. So if I preview this or debug that, I can see I now have what I created, right? Student name. So let's continue. So the data we collect here, we want to save it. So all you do is you go to, just click on this plus icon, then you look for create record. Create one, then use separate resources. The object I want to store that into a student. And then search all fields. I need the name. Value a screen, like you look for your screen component. And in my screen component, don't forget I named my text field as student name. So the screen component, then the value I use. So if I click done, I can just show you that again. So this is it, student name. This is the API name. That was what I selected here. So this student name is what I want to save as name into my student object. It has actually gone. Student name. Okay. So if I check it, I have student's name. So I'm saving student name into the name field of the student object. So done. Then the next thing I want to the screens you want to have is the student. You want to collect the student data. You want to collect the subscription data for that student. You also want to collect the enrollment data for that student. So now there are two approaches I can think of. The first one is you might have a subscription screen first, whereby the students select a subscription, or if they don't select a subscription, that means the only program record they see on the next screen is the free program. But if they select a subscription, then they see the paid program and the free program. Or if you don't want to put the subscription first, you can put the program first, in which they select a program, and you can check if that program is a free program or a paid program. If it's a free program, you can just finish the flow right there. Then if it's a paid program, then you need to open up another screen where they subscribe, where they choose their subscription. So if they choose a subscription, then you can now save the program. If they don't choose a subscription, then they can't do anything because they are selecting a paid paid program. So let's use the second one whereby you select your program first, then we use the session to check if it's a paid program or a free program. So you have a screen and you want them to select a program. So it's a select, right? So you want to use something like a pick list. Then select program. Pick list. Then I'm going to say new choice resource. The choice here is what do you want to show in your pick list? Because presently there is actually nothing here. But what do you want to show in this select in this drop down? So I'm going to create a new resource for that. Then my resource is a record choice. A record choice is you are trying to bring in another record, right? You are trying to bring in the result from other objects. It can be your program object, it can be your plan object. Like for my own case now, I want to put all my programs here, like according to what I have here. I want to put admin, like I want all these things to be a drop down so you can select one of them. That is when you use a record, a record choice list. Then you have a pick list choice list where you can, if you select, okay, you can just look at them one by one after the other. If you select pick list choice, it's going to show you some of the pick list you have. So if I go to program, yeah, I can actually select, okay. I can now say, don't forget our category is a pick list. I think currency, I think I enabled multiple currency. That's not having this. It's also a pick list. But that's not what we want to use. We want our record. We want it to list out our record. So I'll say program list. Okay, no space, program list. Then I want program. I want to list out the program, so I don't need to filter. Sort on. No, really. So object of choice is program. The label I want to see is program and its name. Then store. What do I want to store? I just need the ID because I'm trying to save. What I'm trying to do here is save stuff inside this enrollment. I want to save things inside the enrollment. So for my enrollment, I need the program ID and the student ID. So all I need, this is store more program field value. So what I need is the ID. I want to save stuff inside the ID and I need the select program, right? Okay, that is from here. Oh no, I need to create, this is select program. I need to create a variable for that. The variable I want to store the ID into. So if I go to new resource and variable, then I can say program selected. And that's a text. Down. I need to save the results from that into a variable. So that's why I came back to create a variable. So screen, pick list. Select. New choice resource. Culture set. then the filter. The label, I want to show the name. I want to save my ID, the ID of the selected program into program selected. The variable I just created now, program selected. So I want to save the ID of, so if the person clicked on, if the person selects, sometime from here. Okay, yeah. So if the person selects a program here, I want to collect the ID. You know, this is like a list of programs, right? This is the same thing we are trying to do. We want, if the person selects a program, we want to collect the list, the ID of that program and save it inside program selected, the variable I created earlier, then done. So I have that done. So, so I have another screen component called select a program. I'm going to save that and check. Just put, yeah, next. And then I have select program, which brings out the list of my program. This is the choice set that we created, that choice set where we selected the record choice set and we use program as a object of reference. So this is a list of our programs. So let's go back to the flow. So select a program. Now, the person might either select a paid or a free program. So if the person selects a free program, we just want to say, okay, thank you for enrolling and blah, 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 something like that. But if the person selects a paid program, we want to mandate the person to subscribe before we can save the program, before we can actually enroll the student into that program. So how do we go about that? We introduce a decision component. So decision component, paid. Then the first outcome is if it's paid. We want to do something, conditions are met. So before we do this, we need another variable. Like this program selected, we also want another variable called the category of the program selected. Category selected program. Data type is text. Not default value. Then back to our selected program, we want to edit and add something here. We'll just edit this our choice and a new field, the category of the selected program. So we'll just look for category, yeah, category. Then we save category into category of selected program. So we need this because it is inside the category we can know, it is inside the category. The category is what shows us the category is what shows us the either the program is paid or free. So the category tracks whether the program is paid or free. So we want the category. So going back here, we are saving the category into category of selected program. So done. So we can now go back to our decision and use that selected category so that selected category could either be paid or free. So we want to check if it's paid, if the selected program is paid or free. Paid or free. So the first one we want to check is paid. Then the condition for that is selected variable, category of selected program equals paid. And the default outcome, which will be free. So it's either paid or it's free. If it's paid, we want to force the person to do what? We want to force the person to select a subscription. So subscription will also be something like we are trying to select, right? So we are still going to do something like the same thing we did for program, but in this case, we'll be dealing with plans instead of program. So we want the person to select a plan to subscribe to. So create another resource, another choice resource, and record choice sets. Plan. So we don't need to filter right now. The label we want is the plan name. I want to save the ID. We want to collect the ID and save it inside. Oh, I need to create a variable to save this ID into. So I will just come here and say new resource variable selected subscription text down. Then I'll go back to my screen flow, select pick list, label is select a plan, subscribe plans. I'm going to create a new choice resource, which is a record choice set. Then API name is just plans. Object is plan. No condition, just give me, like this is saying give me all the record in the objects. But if you want to filter by something, you can do that. So give me all the plans, and then I need a name. That will the wall will show up. Then I want to save the ID into selected subscription, which I just created now. Selected subscription, then done. I think that's it. The label of this selection. So now I have an object here where I'm picking so I will just save the plan. I'll save the result of that now, which is create a record. So create a record with subscription. Now for subscription, if you go back to your subscription, for subscription is collecting two things. It's collecting a student ID and plan ID and the status. So if you want to go to this, the object you want to create is subscription. Subscription. Then the first field you want to fill is the plan, and the plan is variable. Okay, this will be selected plan, not selected subscription. So let me see if I can rename that. No, okay. Selected plan. So it's this. Yeah, selected plan. So then I want to create the subscription, create records, create subscription. Object is subscription. The first field I want to fill in is the plan, which is variable selected plan. So the second one is student. Student is also from variable. That will be the result. We've saved, I will show you once I close it. We've saved student. So student ID from create student record. When you create a record, it's going to give you another variable, a new variable called like if you create a program, right? So it's going to be a program ID from the name of that your component. So in my own case, I'm creating a student's record. The name of my component is create student's record. So now it's giving me the ID as a result. So I can use that ID in future. Now, I've already done create student's record. So it gave me the student ID. So the current student that is filling that flow will get the ID. So we can save that ID into the student record of our subscription. Then our status, we can just say status is true, right? Because we are using checkbox. So status is global constant variable true. Global constant true or false, but we want to use true. So done. Now we've created a subscription, and that is for a paid program. If it's a free program, we actually don't want to do anything. We just want to save the program. So now, one thing here, for free program, we want to save the program. After creating a subscription here, I think I needed to do something. I need to make this required. No. So I need to make this subscribe to a plan required. So required, done. So they can't skip this test. They can't skip this step if they have selected a paid program. They must subscribe to a plan. That's why I'm checking this. That's why I checked that required field. Once they select a paid program, they must subscribe. That's why I'm doing this. Now, if it's a free program, we don't need them to subscribe. We just want to save that program. The same way we also want to save the program after subscribing. So instead of doing it both sides, I can just do it as once they finish from here, we save the program. Once they finish from here, we save the program. Don't forget the program is coming from here. We've not saved it at all. we want to make sure they subscribe before we enroll them. So if they finish the subscription, then we can come back to this one and enroll. If they selected a free program, then we can also enroll. So what we want to do is, after whether they subscribe or they don't subscribe, we want to enroll them. Now, we want to create a record. Create a record. Enroll students. Enrollment. Then the program is going to be the selected program variable. Program selected. Then the student is going to be student ID from create students record. Do we have any other field? No. So that's all. Then we save. So we've enrolled the student, and you might want to have another screen that just says thank you for enrolling or something. So thanks for enrolling. If we had collected the program name earlier, we could have just like a variable. You can also go and do that, right? We could have used it here. So, but I can say, thanks for enrolling into so insert a resource. I know I have the category of the selected program. So this would be like, thanks for enrolling into a free program or paid program. So if it's free, to be thanks for enrolling into a free program or thanks for enrolling into a paid program, because I know I collected category of selected program before. If you want to use name instead, the same thing we did for category, you can also do for name, in the sense that you can create a new variable called name of selected program. Then you save that name, you save the name of the selected program into the variable called name of selected program. But we didn't do that, we only did for category. So that's why I'm doing this. So done. So now let me just save this. Then I'll go to the bug. So the student's name. The selected program, I'm select BA, which is a paid program according to BA is a paid program. So let's select BA next. Then because it's a paid program, it tells me to subscribe to a plan. So I can just pick any plan. Next. Then thank you for enrolling into a paid program. Now we've successfully saved that enrollment and the subscription. Now let's do for a free program. Next. So I select a free program. I think Service Cloud is a free program. Service Cloud is free. Then next, then it just says thanks for enrolling into a program. There is no need to subscribe. Are we still together?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we are. Tony, can you quickly walk us through the flow? Just a quick one, not like detailed.
Okay.
Thank you.
First off, you have your student data. This is a screen component. That is the screen. This screen, this is your first thing. You want to collect the student name. So you have your screen, you have your collect student data. So if you have more fields, you can add them here. This is where you select the kind of field you want, the kind of component you want to put here. In my own case, I only have the student name. So I put the student name. Then I give this particular field a name called student name because we'll still be using it in the future. So in create student, this is just collecting the data from the front end. Once it collects it, it doesn't do anything with it. So we need to create the data explicitly. So we are creating the data here using create record. And how many records to create? Just one. Then use separate resource and literal value because we are saving, this is like a variable, right? So now to create our student object, we need the name, and this is the student name. The student name from the screen component. You have your screen component. This is the screen component and the student name, right? Don't forget when I told you we'll be using something in the future. That's the student's name, which is coming from student's name. So that's that. Then we have, now I told you for this one, there are several ways to do it. You can tell them to select their subscription first. If they don't select the subscription, if they skip the subscription page, they can actually, if they skip the subscription page, then you show them only the free courses. If they subscribe, you show them the free and the paid courses. Or you can say, okay, instead of doing that, why don't you select a program first? Then we check if that program is free or paid. So we say select a program, the program they are interested in. Then they select a program. To do that, because it's a select, is like a pick list, right? So you kind of like create your own resource. Then the name of my own resource I created was program. Then if I did that, I'm saying I did it. Yeah, so the object I selected was program. Then I'm saying you should not filter it, like you should just give me all the program. Then you can select the number of choices. If you have many programs, you can select the number of choices. It shows up at once. Then the label you want to see, that's what do I want it to show here? Do I want it to show the ID, or I want it to show the category? Or in my own case, I want it to show the name. That's why I'm using name here. The choice, like the choice label is name. Then for any program I select, I want to collect the ID, and I created a new variable called program selected. You need to create this variable before coming to the screen. So I created a variable called program selected. Then I saved the ID into the program selected. I also created another variable called category of the selected program. So I'm saving the category inside it. Then don't make the mistake of just enrolling the student directly into the program, because if you enroll the student into a paid program without a subscription, that doesn't go in line with the question, which is a student can register into a paid program using an active subscription. So you want to make sure they subscribe before you enroll the students. that is if it's a paid program. If it's a free program, you can just go ahead and enroll without them subscribing. So then after selecting a program, I just save it. I just save the variable. I don't save it into the DB. The first thing I want to do then I check using a decision. I check if they selected a paid program or a free program. Don't forget, I'm saving the category of the selected program. I'm saving it also. I'm saving the category of the selected program. I'm collecting the category and saving it inside. So I have the category. So I can use the category in my decision to say, okay, is the category selected equals to paid? If it's not equals to paid, then I'm sure it's free, right? The first outcome, the second outcome. So if it's paid now, I want them to select a plan, or we can do free. If it's free, I don't need them to do anything. I just enroll the student. I save the program and the student into enrollment, then I'm good to go. But then if it's a paid program, I want them to select to subscribe. I want them to select a subscription. So subscribe to a plan. I do the same thing. I want to list all the, let me select a paid program. I want to list all the plans I have in the system, right? So for that, I'm going to create a new pick list, like a new choice of pick list, using plan as the object, no filter, no condition. Then the label. Then I want to collect the ID, and I create a new variable called selected plan. Then I save the ID into the ID of the plan selected. I save it into selected plan. Click done. Then once I collect the subscription, the plan they want, I can now save that plan and the student ID into subscription. Don't forget your subscription collects the student ID, the plan, and the student ID, the plan ID, and the status. So if I go back to my flow, I want to save the plan ID into subscription, the plan ID, which is the selected plan, the student ID, which is coming from my create students record, then the status, I just put true or false. True in my own case, because we want the subscription to be active. Then after that, both of them, both the free and the paid, if for the paid, if they successfully subscribe, we now want to enroll, which is a continuation of what we have here. The program that was selected here, we now want to save it. We didn't save it. We just collected it from the user. We did not bother saving it. Now we want to save it because they've selected a subscription here or they selected a free program. Then we can go ahead and safely save the program and the student into our enrollment. So go to this, and I'm saving the program ID. I'm saving program selected into program and the student ID into student. Then this is just a thank you screen or something. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. So save and you activate. So that's your screen flow. You can actually have more things. I don't know, but this is just a basic. This is just the basic things we need. So now let's go back to the question. Okay. Now, number 6. Now, in my own plan model, I added something that was in the, if you go to plan, I added something that was on in the initial, that was on the question, duration, because according to number 6, it says subscription to be renewed every month automatically. But then I added duration in the sense that I want to track, I want the person creating the subscription to creating the plan to actually specify how long the plan will last. So if you look at this, the duration is a number, it's just a number. So we can use this number, it's just a number of length 3. So we can use the number to now, if the person selects, the person typed in 30 days, then we want to be resubscribing the person every 30 days. If the person selected, if the person choose probably 365 days, then we want to be resubscribing for the person every year, right? So now for you to do auto subscription, now we're done with the screen flow. Let's go to auto subscribe. Flow. Now for the auto subscription, we are not using screen flow again. We want to, like keep subscribing for the person at some interval, right? So we'll be using record trigger, but this looks like something we can use, but according to what is here, you can't use dynamic field for the filter. So if I go to set schedule, I can only like the schedule trigger, you have to like set a static time to resubscribe the person. But don't forget, what we want to do is every according to the question, every 30 days. But according to what's this one? To schedule trigger, you have to actually select a date which you want it to resubscribe, but that's not what we want to do. What we want is so we can use record trigger. You can actually use this and say, okay, subscribe for everybody every first day of the month, right? And you say the frequency is doesn't even have monthly. So we just go back to our record trigger. We just use record trigger. So new flow, then record trigger flow. So when record trigger flow, say, now, before we do this, there is one other thing we might want to do. Like on the plan home, charts manager, subscription. We can actually make this status a formula field instead of a checkbox, in the sense that we want to unsubscribe or like want to deactivate or activate the subscription automatically, not manually. So instead of us saying here in our previous flow, where is our previous flow? Black force flow, right? So instead of where did we save that? Yeah. So instead of, no. Subscription. Subscription of status. Didn't we save status? Yeah. Oh, okay. We didn't do status. Let's see. I don't know field. Okay, we didn't do status. So we don't actually want to save status. So we want to automatically
No, Tony, I guess you are using the Fridays one. The new one is LMS or something.
Oh, okay, LMS. Okay. Thanks. I was wondering, I know I did something. Okay, Black Force LMS. Thanks. So create subscription. I did. So instead of us saving this status field manually, we can actually make it save, like we can populate the value of the status automatically using formula field. So I will just remove this and use formula to populate that. So the formula will be something like, let me see, can I edit this? Yeah, so I can just delete it. I'll just delete status. Status done. Can't I save? Oh, I've already activated. Sorry. So activate this inside. Go back to version 1. So I want to delete version 1. So I think I should be able to delete it now. Okay, so I create the status field and I use formula. Next. Status. Checkbox. Next. Then I say, now I want to, the formula is now that if today's date is greater than, like we want to check today's date against the day I am subscribing and the duration of what I subscribe, of the plan I subscribed into. So let me just write it so I can explain. I want to check if subscription.created date plus plan duration south. If this is if that is greater than today, that's greater than today. Now, what I'm saying is this: if the created date plus, let's just say this is 30, for instance. If created date, like the day I created the subscription plus 30 is greater than today, like it's still in the future. If they like now, the created date plus the duration date is the day this subscription will expire. So if I say my subscription is 30 days, so that means the day I create it plus 30 days is the day the subscription will expire. Am I right? Hello?
Yes, you're right.
That's right.
Yes, you're right.
So
30 or 29.
Exactly. So this thing I highlighted is the expiry date. So if expiry date is greater than today, that means I still have subscription. But if the expiry date is yesterday, that means my subscription has expired. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So all I'm saying is if created date plus the duration date, which is probably 30, is greater than today, then my status is active, right? Are we still together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
What I did, Tony.
Yeah.
What I did was I had a start date plus 30 days, which gave me an expiry date. And I had a payment, and I had a payment date that if it was after the expiry date, it was inactive. The status was inactive.
Yeah, that's the same thing we're trying to do. So if this equals to yesterday's date, are you getting it? If this equals yesterday's date, then the status automatically changes to inactive. Are we good?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure let me just save this and see what we have. To create a new date field. So then let me see.
So Tony, that means that today is just a date. It's not a date time. That's why you couldn't use it, right?
Yeah, today is date, and don't forget, created date is a date time.
Right. Thank you.
So I'm not even sure, but let me confirm that first. So let me show you my plan first. On my plan, I have duration, right? So I have 30, 365. So if I go to subscription, I select a student. I select the plan or premium. Select the one for 30 days. Which one of them is 30 days? basic. So my status is active. Now, okay, another program is, let me just create, so I can edit this. I will just create a new field called date or something, start date. So I can edit and see if this status is working, because I can't edit the created dates. I can't edit this. So I will just create a new, this is subscription, right? Subscription. Date field. It's just so I can test that is working. Field. Just date, right? Okay, date. Start date. I want to use date time because I want to check something first. Date time. Start date. The show formula editor. This will be now. So the like default value will be now. Which now is a date time. So check syntax. Another thing is I can say the default value is created date, the way I've created date. Oh, so we'll just use that. So subscription, I'll just create a new subscription. It's not showing. I did that on subscription. It's not showing the start date. Start date is actually there. So why is it not coming up? Okay, so start date. Just take this back for 2 months. Oh, okay. I've not. I need to edit the status to use start date instead. So you can see like the status is now inactive. So if I bring back the start dates to future to something closer, let's say 10. So the status, can you see, do you understand what I'm doing here? The start date now is 10 of May, right? So 10 of May plus 30, that will be around 10 of next month. But now if I take this a little bit backward, probably March, 16th of March, 16th of March plus 30 will be 16th of April, which is less than today. That means it expired last month. So automatically our status is inactive. Do we get this? Hello?
Yes, we got it.
Okay, great. So now I will go back to my flow. I want to now create a flow for the auto subscription. So the object is subscription. When a record is created or updated, entry condition. Now, what I want to do here is I want to auto subscribe when, like, now what happens is this. On the day that this subscription expires, this status is going to change to false. So now my subscription criteria here can be, I want to check if the status is false. If the status is false, then I want to resubscribe. Does it make sense? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the day, let me just take it again. On the day this was, hello?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. On the day the start date, on the day this start date plus 30 or 365 or something is less than today's date, this status is going to change to false according to the formula. So once this status changes to false, I want a flow to kick off. That's what I'm saying. Status equals false. I want this flow to kick off once the status changes to false. Another thing you can add is also you can add another field here, another field on your subscription object saying, do you want it to auto subscribe? Yes or no, like another checkbox. So you can also do that here because a person might say, okay, I don't want this subscription to auto subscribe. So you can also check that. So if status equals false and auto subscription equals true, if you have the field, then you can do that. So every time we record, when to run the flow for updated record, every time the record is updated and meets the requirement, only when the record is updated to meet the requirement. This is what I want to use. Only when the record is updated to meet this requirement, then I want to do fast food update. I want to update record. I just want to update the start date to today now. Like the start date was the day I registered for the subscription. So I want to update. So once I update the start date to today, the start date plus 30 will now be greater than today. Then my status will turn back to active. That means I've like resubscribed the person. So start date to current date time. So I'm changing start date to today. down. So, now let's try that out. So I have this, I'll just create a new subscription. Students, plan, basic plan, then today, right? Date starts the 16th of this month. Save. The status is active and the start date. I don't know why the start date is not coming up here. The start date is 16th of this month, which is today, right now. Now, if I say, let's take the start date back to March 9, which is 2 months ago, which means this subscription has expired. Save. Let's refresh this. Oh, yeah, it's actually updating. I think the value I used here is wrong. Oh, I didn't save this. No, don't start date and time. Save as new version. So subscription, student, save that. Status is active. So if I take the date back to some months back, save, you can see that the status is still active, right? The status is still active and the start date is still today. Can someone tell me why that is? Because, you know, I updated this back to previous, let's say, I said this should go back a bit to March 2nd, then I saved this. But I'm still having my start date as 16th of this month instead of March 2nd. Can anybody explain why I'm having that?
Auto subscribe.
What are you saying?
Auto subscribe.
Because of the auto subscribe. Because according to what I have here, I'm saying if I'm saying anytime my status is equals to false, it should do this. Like once my status changes to false, it changes the start date to today's date. And once the start date changes to today's date or something plus 30 that is less than today, less than or equals to today, then the status according to the formula we add here, we already know that from this flow, from this one, the start date is going to change. The start date is going to change from here. Then for the status, we are checking if the start date has already changed to today. So today plus 30 is it greater than now? You get?
Yes.
So This is what automatically populates this. So at that, resulting from that result, we know we are changing the start state using the flow, and we are changing the status using the formula field on status. So as a result, this changes once the status changes to inactive. So are we still together? Hello?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So now, one of these questions, because you might have some problem here. One of the questions says, a student can have one active subscription at a time, right? So you want to, when you create a new subscription, you want to check, you might also use a flow, right? When you create a new subscription, you want to check if there is an active subscription before activating the new one. I was too good. Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you can use flow. Let's close this one. Now, so flow. So record triggered flow. When the record is created on subscription. Record is created. And I'm coming. Okay. Okay. What's that? Let's just remove this for now. Done. Now you want the student creating the record. Updates gets coming. Okay. So delete this. You want to get the first thing you want to do is get the subscription for that particular student, right? So a new resource variable. student data, we want to save the record student. Yeah. We want all subscription, like we want to check all subscription for that student. Okay, the student ID. We want the student ID. Student. Now the record we are tracking here is the subscription. So we want to get the student ID, and we want to use the student ID to check for all subscription, like all subscription of that student. Get all the, we want to get all first. Get record. Subscription. The student ID was student data. We already know we've collected the student ID from the record. We can actually get it from the student. And so we won't be needing that this variable that I created earlier done. So get student subscriptions. I can just delete this. So I'm getting the students record, and I need all the records. That's it. Okay, this is a subscription file. It creates a variable for us automatically, so I can delete this. So we have a list of the student subscription here, right? So what we want to do is loop through that record. Label. So the subscription we got from get student subscription. first to last. For each, we want to check if check active. If active source, I want to check if current subscription dot status equals true. If the current subscription dot status, like the status of the current, like the status of the first, let's say on the first loop, let's say the person has 5 subscription. So we want to check if the status of that of each of them is true. So on the first one, if it's true, then default outcome as so we want to check if, like, for each of the data in this subscription, we want to check if each of them is active or inactive. So if it's active, if we have any active subscription, there are 2 things we can do. We can either deactivate it or make the new one inactive instead. So if one of these subscription the person has before is active, we want to either deactivate that old one or deactivate the new one, because we can only have one new subscription. So what we can do is, but for us to do that, we've done something here that I didn't take the subscription. Subscription using formula field for this status. I didn't take into consideration this I didn't take into consideration number 5. So because the status here is, you can't even edit it, it's generated automatically. So what I can do is I can just create a new status, so we can use it for that. So checkbox, pick list. Let's just use a checkbox. Let's take auto subscribe first. Auto subscribe. Next. Then we want to have another status. We'll still delete one of them, but let's just have this first. Checkbox. So back to our flow. If one of the of his previous subscription is active, like if the status, but what we want to use now is status 1, not status 1. Oh, we have to refresh this. So, see this. I do have the session, right? So, yeah, I just want to check. Well, now, let's say if they have a previously active subscription, we want to, in our own case, we just want to make the new one. Let's just deactivate the old one and make the new one active, right? So we can just deactivate the old one and say updates record. Deactivate, so status 1 equals false. So with this, we are deactivating the old subscription, and with our new subscription automatically will be activated. Then we deactivate the old one. So on our loop, the first thing is we have a loop. The first thing is we get all our subscription record for that student using the student ID from here. Using the student ID. So we get all the subscription for that particular student. For each of those subscription, we check if the person has an active subscription. So if the person has an active subscription, we deactivate the old subscription, and using the first flow we built, the new subscription will be active. So if you go to the first flow, and we might also want to say auto subscribe to equals false. Equals false. So done. Then if we go back to our previous LMS, and also auto subscribe. Where's auto subscribe? I thought I had the flow to subscribe. I saved the flow for auto subscription, right? Hello? Okay, this is it. So for us to auto subscribe, I also want to check if auto subscription is true. Add condition. Auto subscribe equals true. So for LMS, I want to say create subscription. Status 1 was true. And auto subscribe to was true. Now, what I'm doing here is auto subscribe equals true, status 1 equals true. And then on auto subscribe, I'm checking if my auto subscribe equals true and if my status equals false. Like if the status equals false and auto subscribe equals true, I want to resubscribe the person. And on my checking for previous active subscription. So if the person has an active subscription previously, I am saying the status should be equals to false and the auto subscribe equals false. So it means we don't want to auto subscribe that previous subscription again. And the status of that previous subscription is we are also changing that to false so that we can check for so once we disable that former subscription, we want to be using it again. We will now be using only the new one that we're doing here. Only the new one, status 1 equals true and auto subscribe equals true. And for our auto subscription, all we are tracking is this auto subscribe must be true and the status must be false. And for this, we already know this will only be true for new created stuffs. Once another subscription is being created, the old one will be, the auto subscribe for the old one will be deactivated automatically from here. I know it's a bit much, but I know it's like, I shouldn't ask if it's clear, but can you just point out where it gets, like where everything started scattering so I can pick up from there and try and explain again?
Tony, my own question is, can these videos be uploaded, please?
Yeah, sure. I think they are being uploaded on the Schedule app.
Schedule app?
Yes, I think.
But we don't have access to such Schedule app.
Like the attendance, where you came in from. Attendance, they are being uploaded
on my learning. It will be in my learning. It will be in my learning.
I don't know if.
No, it's not in my learning.
Sorry,
it will be there.
Okay.
It will be there when you click on it tomorrow or whenever they upload it. It will be there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, you want to go through it again before, because seriously, I don't. But one thing you should note is this, right? I have 3 flows, and actually the 3 are a bit connected. The first one is your screen flow, which takes in, this is your first one, your screen flow, which takes in the student, the subscription, and the program. But where the connection comes into play is the subscription. Now, for this one, the status, this is like another kind of status. We have a status tracking for whether the subscription is active or not. That is this one, active subscription. We are using that. But then we have another status for tracking auto subscription. That is this status 1. So we are setting if they are creating the record anew. So we are saying status 1 is true. Auto subscribe is also true, which means auto subscribe is we want this particular subscription to be auto subscribed, right? So then we have a second flow, which says when the status is false, that's the actual status of the, just see this as something like a virtual status, like a supporting status. This status one is a supporting status. The main status is using formula. So if the main status is equals to false and our auto subscribe is true, which means we want this particular subscription to auto subscribe, then auto subscribe this thing, this person, this particular status. So how do we auto subscribe? We're saying to auto subscribe, just change the start date to today. That means we are doing another subscription today. Does that make sense? Then we have the third flow for checking previously active subscription. Like when you can see AI only said when a record is created. So when we are creating a new subscription record, we want to check if the person has a previously active subscription. So the first thing you want to do is you want to collect all the subscription for that student. That is what we are doing here. Collect all the subscription for that student. So you have student equals the record, which is that particular subscription record. The subscription record, let me see. The subscription record, then the student ID. The student ID. Every subscription record has a student ID, right? As a student, this is it. So you want to collect the ID of the student. That is all what you are looking for here. You want the ID of the student. Like you want the subscription that belongs to the student, where like this is get all subscription, then a conditional condition requirement where get all subscription, where student equals this particular student that is making this request. You get, like, all I'm saying is this: when I create a new subscription, I get to select a student, right? So collect the ID, collect all the subscription that Ola Anthony has. That is what I'm doing here. Collect all subscription record where student ID equals Ola Anthony. Does that make sense? Hello?
We're following you.
Okay. So once you have all the subscription, you are going to have a list. So you want to loop through the list. You want to check the list, like you want to check the record in the list one by one. So that's why we have this loop. So we are looping the get student subscription. So on each loop, you want to check if that the subscription, like let's say you have 5 subscriptions for that student. For the first one, you want to check if that subscription is active or inactive. That is why we have this decision block that says current item from loop, check active subscription. The current item from each of these loop, if the status of that is true. If the status of that is true, which is this active, then deactivate it. Like change it to inactive. If it's active, change it to inactive. If it's inactive, we don't need to do anything. We just go to the second record. If that one is also active, we go to the third record. If the third record is active, that means we are going to this side. Then we deactivate it so that the new one that is coming in can be active according to the formula here. So as a result of that, the new one, by default, the new one will be active. But as a result of this deactivating old one, will only be having just one active subscription in the system per student. So once a new subscription is coming in, we deactivate all old subscriptions that are active. That's all. Are we still good? Hello?
Yes, let's go on.
Okay.
We are good.
Okay. So save and activate.
So Tony would watch it over and over and assimilate it better. Because if we begin to ask you questions today, we'll not leave this place. So it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, we actually passed. We are way past time. Okay, what we can just do is probably Friday or so. We can come back with questions after the classes for this week. Once you go through the video, then we can visit this again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
It makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Tony, are you going to go through the Apex part of it?
Thank you very much. I was about to ask that.
Actually,
because that's what I'm interested in.
That's the part I'm actually waiting for too.
Apex is actually pretty straightforward, right? You just need a DML for each of those objects. That's all.
We want to see a solution.
Yeah, probably we might actually go through that because this is past 10, right?
No, yes, I don't mean today.
But on Friday.
But on Thursday Friday. Or Friday, please.
Once if we have the time, we'll definitely go through it.
Tony, please, one question.
Mm-hmm.
The first flow, where was it called? The first flow.
Yes. Okay. I didn't actually do that. You can just put it anywhere, right? You can even put it on your own page. Let me see. Let me just do that. Sorry for the time. Let me just. You can just app manager. Even you can add home page to this thing. So. Oh, not app manager. Is app manager component? Component. What's new? Okay. I don't know which of these home is actually going to be accessing. I'm just going to take it to. See what's on right. Oh, this is online. Black force. Yeah, Blackbox LMS, right? So save to create. So you have it here.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all. Okay.
Any other question before we round up for the night? Okay. There's another question. Thank you guys for coming around.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm